Like Prabhupada's the guru for ISKCON. He taught us how to rise early and how to keep clean and how to chant and how to worship the deities and how to eat prasadam. How to keep engaged 24 hours a day. And there are many devotees who are doing this. They become saintly persons if they do that. And they don't, it's not correct that they become irresponsible and, they don't perform their duties properly. No, they perform their duties. It's like I know so many devotees that everything they do, it's all related to Krishna, but yet everything they do is good for society, is good for the people, it's good for them, it's good for their family. Everyone benefits when someone does something in Krishna consciousness. It's not that someone does something Krishna conscious and then something else is neglected. No. Krishna conscious activity doesn't neglect anything. It's the best service. It's like if you have $1 million, you don't have to worry about your $100 problems. It's all included. Whatever problems you think, oh, I need $100, I have to pay a bill. And I said, but you have $1 million. I know, but I need 100. No, it's included. Hundreds included, thousands included, 10,000s included, 100,000s included. Krishna consciousness includes all the beneficial things. You don't have to worry about them. How to take care of you, how to be popular, how to pass the exam. Just be Krishna conscious and everything will be nice. All your desires will be fulfilled, and even more than you could desire, more than you thought. Krishna has 10 hands in some of his incarnations. And with his 10 hands he can give you more than you can hold. And with his 10 hands he can take away more than you can protect. So if Krishna wants to take something away from you, you can't stop him. And if Krishna wants to give you something, he can give you so much. Well, these are a few ideas. Now if we have any discussions or questions.
Like, you see some devotees, advanced senior devotees, but somehow they fall down from the position. So what's going wrong?
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. The material world is a vicious place. Maya's Durga. I was just reading about Bhadrakali today. You've heard of Bhadrakali? There was a battle going on. Pradyumna and his sons and his brothers were fighting against some big demons. And then Bhadrakali came and she started, and her friends, her associates, the witches, the Pishachas, Vetala, all these ghosts, spirits, they came and started eating bodies and drinking them. What was your question?
So even advanced devotees...
Yeah, it's a difficult place. That's my point, that she's in charge of this world. It's a difficult place. We've fallen in, it's like falling into a deep, dark well. Imagine you're out in the forest and you suddenly fall down 50 feet and you splash into some water and it's just a narrow well and the sides are all slippery. You can't get out. You're in the deep dark. Oh, what are you going to do? You can cry. Help, help. No one can hear you. You're lost. But if somebody does happen to come there and say, is there someone down there? And you say, yes. And he says, throws down the rope. Says, grab a hold of the rope, I'll pull you up. That much you have to do. You have to pull it. You have to hold the rope. So the spiritual master is that person who throws the rope down. He's come and found us in the well. And it's our only hope to get out. We can't get out by, don't say, no problem, I'll get out on my own. You try getting up, you slip, it's all slippery. You're 50 feet down. How long are you going to last down there? How could you climb up 50? It's not possible. Take the rope, it's easier. That's the point. So, yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, some of my God brothers. But they've done wonderful service. So that's to their benefit. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nehapi kurmanashosti pratyavayana vidyate swapamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatavaya. In this endeavor of devotional service, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement protects one from the most dangerous type of fear. In other words, let's say they did 20% devotional service in their life. That's their eternal benefit. And when they begin again, they'll begin at 21%. But many of them, they may get sidetracked for some time, but then they come back. And that's a wonderful thing. It's difficult to drive Krishna out of your life completely because he's so attractive. Everybody admits that when they were the most Krishna conscious, it was the happiest time of their life. But our conditioning is very strong and mine is very strong. But still there's no loss if one performs devotional service, even a little bit. There's a nice verse by Narad Muni. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam hare janapakva utapatetato yati yatakva vavadharma buddha mushikim kavarta apto bhajatam swadharmata. One takes to devotional service, giving up his material responsibilities. And if he falls down, there's no loss. On the other hand, if he's very good at all of his material responsibilities, but no devotion to Krishna, what does he gain? So there's no loss. And anyway, the senior devotees that I know, they don't forget Krishna. They may get sidetracked, but their devotion is still there. And they're going on with their service. And if one becomes proud or careless, and naturally, if we become proud and careless, then there's going to be some reaction to that. Like if you're if you're shaving and you're trying to do many things, talk on the phone, shave, and cook, and so many things, but there's going to be bloodshed. Because a sharp razor, you have to be careful with it. You can't just do everything. So good. Maya is strong. But Krishna is stronger than Maya. Taiviheshu gunamai, mama maya durateya, mamevaye papadyante mayamaitam tarantate. I've seen devotees go away for years, decades, and when they come back, they surrender to Krishna, they begin right exactly where they left off. They don't miss a step. It's incredible actually, because we've learned that from the scriptures, that one continues from where he left off. But you would think, well, he must have forgotten some things, he must have fallen. No, it begins right where he left off, and then they continue to make advancement. Krishna doesn't hold it against them. Oh, you turned away for so long. It's like a father. If a father has a son that's very rebellious, and the son runs away, and the son gets in trouble, but the father's always thinking of the son. And if the son even writes nasty letters to the father, so then after some time, the son calls and said, "Father, it's me. I'm in some horrible dungeon. And they gave me one phone call and they said, if someone will come and get me, I don't know if you'll forgive me for all the things I've done wrong." Father says, "Just where are you? Don't bother." Father doesn't say all the bad things you did, the nasty letter. "Oh, but what about all those nasty letters you sent me?" No, he doesn't say it like that. He says, "Just tell me where you are. I'll be there in a moment." So Krishna's like that. He's a father, a loving father, and he wants to save us, no matter what we've done.
Maharaj, when the devotee is actually falling down, so is it Kali testing you, or is tempting you, or is it Krishna taking your test?
No, it's our mistake. It's not Krishna's mistake. And it's not Maya, she's doing her job nicely. It's our mistake. It's our choice to turn away from Krishna. Krishna bahar mukahana bhogavanchakare nikitista maya tara japati adari. When the living entity turns his face away from Krishna, then he's put under Maya. It's not unfair. It's what we want. It's like when someone's put in prison, it's not unfair. They voluntarily made their decision. They knew what the law was. You can't go to court and say, "What? It's not legal to kill people? I didn't know that." Everybody knows that. Judge won't believe it. Judge says, "Sorry. Guilty. That's not a good argument that I didn't know." So it's our choice. We don't have to fall down. We have to make that decision. I don't want to fall into Maya. I want to surrender to Krishna. Therefore, let me get good association. It's like if you have your family, if you're a householder, then you have to have a good Krishna conscious family. Because you need that association. Now living in a temple, so it's a challenge. So you have to have good children, good wife, good husband. Everybody has to be doing their part. At least at home. If not at school, if not at work, at least at home we have to have. Home has to be a nice temple. How to do that, it's a great science. How to mold one's life so that he can always remember Krishna. I remember one time I had a service. My service was selling spiritual sky incense to make money for the temple. So during the day I would go out like a businessman, selling incense to stores and things like that. But I had my morning program before I went out. I did my rounds. I had my RT and Bhagavatam class, wherever I would travel. Take prasadam and go out. And it was not difficult. Even though I was mixing with materialists, sometimes I wore devotional dress, sometimes I wore Western dress. But it didn't matter because I was spiritually protected. I was chanting my rounds, following the person. So then even in the most dangerous situation, even in an alluring situation, or like Arjuna, he was on the battlefield, but because he was spiritually protected, it was not a problem for him. He crossed over. Shankaracharya says that on the other side there was Drona the alligator or something. He gave different analogies. Duryodhana the whirlpool. It was a very difficult battle, but because he was Krishna conscious, he crossed over. Krishna was the ferryman. Krishna carried him across. So Krishna will protect us if we take shelter of him. Other questions?
Maharaj, we are talking about like if we keep ourselves as a center, but whatever we experience through our body. We enjoy family. We have a enjoyment through this body. So how to remember we have to always imagine that I'm not this body, I'm the soul. Like how to get the experience, I'm not this body, I'm the soul.
Yes, you get to experience by carrying out Krishna's instructions. That's it. In other words, let's say you join the army. So you may say, well, I'm used to doing things on my own. I say, yeah, I know, but you're in the army now. Take this gun, go run, do this, dig a hole. And you say, but I'm not used to it. Do it. And you do it, then you realize what it means to be a soldier. You're in the army. You have to follow. So by following their instructions, you forget about, I was going to go to the football game last week, and I'm going to go to Hawaii for a holiday. Forget all these selfish things. You do what they want. But there's happiness. They also have joy. That's a crude example I'm giving because Krishna consciousness is not like the army, but I'm giving the idea that to be fully absorbed in it, then you have to act on it. So if you act on what Krishna wants, Krishna doesn't want us to suffer. Krishna wants us to be happy. But he wants us to be happy in wholesome, good ways. Just like a parent. The child is running across the street. The parent grabs the child. Says, you can't run across the street. So the child may think, well, my father doesn't want me to have any fun. That's ridiculous. Father doesn't want you to get run over by the car. Father wants you to have fun, but not running through the street. So Krishna wants you to have an enjoyable time, but not in activities that are harmful. So, you act on Krishna's instructions. Krishna's instructions, Shastras, the Guru, Sadhu Shastra Guru. Follow them. And you're safe. Then the enjoyment that you get, it'll be transcendental enjoyment, and Krishna will be pleased with it. Krishna wants you to be happy, but happy in spiritual bliss, not material. Not like the animals. A hog is eating stool, thinks he's happy, but we realize that's a horrible thing. So we don't do that. We don't imitate the hog. So we shouldn't imitate the dogs and the hogs, the camels and the asses. We should act according to Krishna's instructions. Okay, we'll go around the room. Who has a question over here? Anyone?
You mentioned that because you were speaking about karma, and you mentioned that also this in physics are also karmic reactions. Can you give some example?
Then we have probably people here who are better. Give a physics example. How action causes reaction.
What is the question? I didn't understand.
For every
I
action, there is
can-
an equal and there is a reaction. That's what they say in physics, right? So, can we give a real-time example in terms of karma?
Oh, physics.
No, not in terms.
You're saying in
terms of
physics.
In terms of physics.
Or karma. What's your question?
You mentioned that in physics are also karmic reactions.
Yeah, the action and reaction. Just like when you add heat, then things expand. It's a reaction. When there's a momentum, something runs into something. Some transfer of energy. Physical laws. But there's also karmic laws. If you punch someone in the nose, then you have to suffer for that. If you don't suffer immediately, you'll suffer later. But it's noted. It's like if you drive down the street, nowadays they have these cameras. So the camera clocks how fast you're going and then they send you a ticket. You may think, I made it very fast today. I went over the speed limit and I got away with it, but then you get in the mail you get the ticket. $80. So you can't get away from whatever you perform. It's noted by Krishna. He's the supreme witness. But not only Krishna, Yamaraj, the sun, the moon, the day, the directions, they're all witnesses. So they're all keeping an eye on everything. So the system of karma is very precise.
How do you convince one? Sometimes it's not. We don't seem to be convinced of law of karma. It seems everything is fine now. So why do we? How do you know it's coming back or?
Why is it that one person is born deformed and demented, and another person born in the same place, the same time, and he's born with a silver spoon in his mouth? How do you explain that? Why is that? You can just say it's a freak accident.
Past karma.
Yeah, but it's due to karma. One person is... We're now receiving the enjoyments and the sufferings from our past activities. And what we do now will result in karmic reactions in the future. So if I'm getting karma and so I lose something, I lose my wallet, and I become angry and then I go steal someone else's wallet. That means I'm suffering from the karma from my past, but because of my nonsense, now I'm stealing someone's wallet again, I'm going to get in more trouble in the future. So karma, we see it to some extent, even in this world, we see it day by day. Someone, he steals, he gets put in jail. He's not in jail by accident. It's not that somebody accidentally put him in jail. He misbehaved, and now he's getting the karma. So we get karma now, but it's not just in this life. It carries over. What's left over, karma that's left over that haven't gotten the reaction for, I get in my next life. That's the way things work. But yes, it's important to understand the science. Therefore the Vedic science is such an important teaching because it teaches us karma, it teaches us God, the soul, mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, how to transcend it, spiritual world. So many things. You have to learn it. You can't just learn everything by seeing. You have to learn by hearing. So we hear from authorities. If Krishna says there's karma, karma na daivane trena, jeho patane. The law of karma. Krishna says it. And all the sages say it. And we see it. It makes sense. There's nothing unusual about it. It's even in our law system. It's even in the scripture, the Bible, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Goes around, comes around. Law of karma. If you eat filthy food from the gutter, you get sick. That's part of that's what happens. If you eat good, healthy food, then you're healthy. That's a partial.
Is there a way to predict reactions now? Like when good reactions are going to come, when bad reactions are going to come from the previous life?
Give an example.
Like astrology, sometimes they can kind of predict.
Astrology is a bona fide science. Someone who's an adept astrologer, yes, he can calculate your future, he can calculate your past, your present. It's a bona fide science. So what are you thinking to predict? When bad things are going to happen? How long? Yeah, astrology can predict how long you'll live, what will happen to you, how much wealth you'll get. So many different things are predicted because it's based on your past karma. Briga Samhita, there's a scripture called the Briga Samhita that has everybody's listed there somehow. I don't know how they do that, but everybody's listed, and they know a way they can check on Briga Samhita now. This is what's coming by the stars, because the demigods, they know all these things. They're the agents of the Lord. And it's their job to arrange for the enjoyment or the suffering of the living entities according to their karma. They're the ones who make it. How do you get a disease? You get a disease, that's your karma. Who arranges the disease? Well, you've got Vayu, you've got Varuna, you've got all these different demigods in charge of the waters and the air. All they have to do is adjust the air a little bit, and you got disease. The air is in the body. Right? Old age diseases are mostly caused by problems with the air. 10 different types of air. Vayu is in charge of the air. So when he gets the instruction, okay, this person, give him this disease and that disease, he knows exactly how to do it.
Maharaj, I actually went to one of those guys who proclaim they have Prabhu Sanhita, and you know that they do all that past, present, and future. So I was able to, sit through that whole session. They ask you for a number and they start on a lot of things, but fairly accurate. I mean, I can tell you that. But my question is, can you change your future, or is it already defined? If what I am doing today, is it really driving my future, or is it already defined because it was supposed to happen like this?
Certain things are inevitable. Nothing you can do about them because they're karma. But how you respond to them, how you respond to that circumstance determines your future. It's like if you get on an airplane to Hawaii. Now you're on the plane to Hawaii, you can't change, you can't get off. You can't say I want to go somewhere else. But, so that choice you made, that's your karma. You're going to Hawaii. Now, you still have some choices. While you're on the plane, you can sit down quietly, read a book or something like that, or you can try to pickpocket the person sit next to you. So if you pickpocket, and then you get off and you think, I'm almost off the plane now, and then he says, wait a minute, my wallet's missing. And then somebody grabs you, and you get put in prison. So you had choices. You misused your choices. You could have just read the book, but instead you tried to pickpocket. So going to Hawaii was not a choice that you could change. But on the way to Hawaii, you had different choices. And if you use them nicely, you get good results.
Should you even worry about the future then, once you have kind of devoted yourself to Krishna?
One who's in Krishna consciousness, he's not so much worried about the future or the past and the present. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all, but act in times that are with thee, in progress thee shall call. So devotee is engaged in devotional service on the eternal platform. He's not interested in past, present, and future, material platform.
When a person does everything good in his life and he's done nothing wrong, but he never chants Krishna or devotional thing, then what would be his future life? He will go to spiritual, or he will come back to material life?
He's not chanting Hare Krishna, he's doing a lot of things wrong.
No, he is not doing that one thing, but he is doing all
That
the
one thing is very
That-
important.
that's the thing. Because in the material world, he feels that he is doing all the things correct.
He thinks.
He thinks. That's what I am saying.
Yeah,
he,
but maybe he's not correct.
he is not.
He doesn't know. What about all the little creatures he's stepping on when he walks down the street or jogs down the street?
So
Is he
anybody
responsible for those?
No, but
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's responsible for those acts. What about the food he eats? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one who eats food that's not offered first for sacrifice eats barely only sin. So he's responsible, he's culpable for all those misdeeds. For forgetting Krishna, that's the greatest misdeed. He forgot Krishna. He's thinking he's good, but he's not good.
But once we do all these misdeeds and again chant Krishna, then it will be good again.
Yes, then it's cleared off. Krishna says, I will protect you from all sinful reactions if you surrender to me. So yes, it's wiped away, clean slate. All the karma is wiped off. That was the point we made in that other verse. One who performs all of his duties perfectly, but he's not a devotee, he didn't gain anything. But one who performed devotional service, even if he fell down due to being immature, there's no loss.
Maharaj, as a devotee, you meet a lot of people, office or social gatherings or different types of people. Should you be very open about, because you feel all the time now, because you want to talk to people about it, you want to tell them, no, this is not right, this is how you should do that. But, when should you restrain yourself and not
Maybe
become-
don't tell your boss.
That's a good idea. But I
Tell
wanna-
everybody else. Got the whole world to tell them. Maybe hold off on your boss for a while. Prahlad Maharaj was so bold though, he even told his father. He said, I know what you need. You need to go to Vrindavan, father. That's where you need to go. You got problems. He wasn't afraid of his father, but that's Prahlad Maharaj. So it depends on our situation.
A couple of colleagues of mine, they already think I'm part of some cult. Because, the way I talk and, the things I explain them sometimes, and, when I go out for lunches or things I do and restrain myself from, so, but I want to communicate in a positive sense that, the cult is not just a cult, it's a real thing. It's not just a choice of.
Well, Krishna will help you. If you're sincerely trying to serve him, he'll give you good intelligence. Tesham, satata yuktanam, vajitam priti purvakam, dami buddhi yogam tam yinumami upayanti te. He'll give you good intelligence how to succeed in spreading Krishna consciousness and also everything else. Okay? So a little kirtan?
Yes,
You have prasadam also?
yes, ma'am.
Yep, prasadam.
Yummy food.
Eat prasadam. What time is it?
Not food. It's prasadam.
What time is it?
A few minutes before.